Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
So, welcome you all. I am Dr. Charudatta Pathak, Director, School of Automobile Engineering, Symbiosis Skills and Professional University, Tivole, Pune. I sincerely thanks to our mentor, guide, and good friend, Mr. Arindam Lairiji, who is CEO of Automotive Sector Skill Development Council of India. I am thankful to Mr. Musarraf Hussain, who is heading the skills development section of Maruti Suzuki, who has joined online. I am thankful to Sudhanshu Padi sir, who is DGM at Hero Motorcar. I am thankful to my dear friend Prashant Pawar, who is present here. He is from ARI. This is the seminar organized for career guidance of future automobile engineers. So we have a few newly admitted students and second year and third year students of BTech Automobile Engineering who will be graduating in 24, 25 and 26. With this, I will outline the program flow. We will have inaugural address by Shri Arindam Lairiji. Then we will have experts talk from Sudhanshuji and Hussain sir, and later on by Mr. Prashant Pawar. And after that, vote of thanks. I am also thankful to Garima, who has coordinated this event. Thank you, Garima. And my beloved friends who are here for this seminar. With this, I will request Arindamji.
Hi, good morning, all of you. Thank you, Mr. Pathak, for inviting me for this session. And I'm also delighted that we joined by two distinguished guests from the industry, Mr. Sudhanshu Padi from Hero Motorcorp and Mr. Musarraf Hussain from Maruti Suzuki India Limited. Uh, I think the topic for today is very, very relevant and I think will be useful for the students who have gathered here. In the automotive industry, we are in the midst of a large number of disruptions. I'm sure most of you keep hearing about electric vehicles, hybrid electric vehicles, Industry 4.0 applications, and so on and so forth. Alternate fuel technologies, hydrogen. So there is a vast gamut of development that is happening across the world, and India is no different. And therefore, those of you who are wanting to start their careers at this point in time with the industry, it will be important for you to understand from people who work with these areas and in the current setup of the industry as to how they see this transition happening, and therefore what are the kind of skills that will be required for the engineers of the future. At ASDC, which is Automotive Skill Development Council, which is jointly promoted by the three industry associations of the country for automobile industry, SIAM, ACMA, and FADA. It is always our endeavor to ensure that we connect the potential learners to the people who are part of the industry already and who are part of the academia, are also aware of the reality of what is happening and what is likely to happen in the short term future, because the world is changing very fast. There is no point in trying to crystal ball gaze about what will happen 20 years hence, which will be important for all of you, I understand. But it's important for first of all to understand that if you are going to do a 4 year course now, what is it that will be required 5 years down the line is what will be the priority, and clarity and understanding that you will be required to understand at this point in time. It is also very important to understand that post pandemic and the various economic implications across the world in terms of supply chain, etc., are also impacting global mobility industry. And global mobility industry will have huge impact in terms of how things will get moved along the basic concept of ACES, which is autonomous, connected, electrical, and shared mobility. How these will take shape in the future is there's still a lot of debate that always goes on, but we are already seeing some of these being actually available. So we are having, let's say, level 1, level 2 autonomous ADAS kind of vehicles on road. We are seeing connected vehicles where you could connect the vehicle to the central support system of the OEM. Uh, Electric vehicles are already on road, especially in terms of two-wheeler, three-wheeler. It has already taken a lot of fast adoption. And shared mobility was one of the first to take off the block. There are some questions that have come up now, but I'm sure there will be new versions of the shared mobility that we will be looking at as we go forward. So at this point, this workshop or this talk series will be a very important input for you to make a very conscious choice and a conscious decision about the kind of efforts that you will need to put while you are at college over the next 3 to 4 years, and ensure that you build those capabilities which are required by the industry, so that you do not find any challenges in terms of employability with the industry, which I'm sure many of you know that there is always this question mark as to whether the newer engineers that are coming out of the colleges are employable in the industry straight away or not. But I think the gap is in terms of understanding the expectation of the industry. And if you understand this better through interactions like these, I'm sure you will put your honest effort to move forward and make yourself ready for the industry. I wish all of you all the best, and I'm sure you will have a very engaging session today. Please feel free to ask questions from our experts, and I'm sure they will be more than happy to respond to your questions and queries, and they will also be enjoying this. Thank you so much, and thank you once again, Symbiosis, for partnering with ASDC on this particular event, and look forward to more such sessions, interaction sessions in future as well. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Pathak.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your kind guidance. Now I will request Sri Hussain ji to kindly address the audience.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Pathak, and very good morning to everyone. And thanks for inviting us to this session today. So at the outset, as Arindam has already outlined about the changing dynamics in the auto industry, let me just reiterate once again, especially to the students who are sitting here. See, let me give certain perspective about the auto industry. See, India is the largest manufacturers of two-wheeler in the world, right? If we look at the passenger vehicle, we are the fourth largest in the world. And if we look at the commercial vehicle, we are the seventh largest in the world. So this is the scenario. But if we look at some other specific data, I mean, almost 35 million people are directly and indirectly employed in this sector. And if we look at the automotive mission plan projection, it is poised to grow to 65 million by, it was earlier 2026, but because of the pandemic, maybe delayed by another 3-4 years. So I'm sure that by 2030, we should be close to that figure. And if we look at, the contribution to the GDP, uh, it is close to 7.5 uh, in the overall GDP. But if we look at just the auto component sector, they contribute something like 2.3% of the GDP. So it's a huge sector, huge sector, and the kind of employment that they are generating and the way they are growing is phenomenal. But if we look at another data which is very fascinating, if we look at car per capita, this is a concept where we say that out of 1,000 people, how many people own a car in India, for example? You people can guess, but globally the average could be 650. Some developed countries is as high as 800 plus. But if you look at India, India is minuscule. 22 people only own a car in India out of 1,000 people. Only 22. But that is not a bad scenario, let me tell you. It's a good sign actually. Because China with 90 people owning a car per 1,000 is world number one. You can imagine if India reaches just 40, 45, where we will be. And that is the reason that more and more companies are trying to come to India and set up shop, because there is ample scope for expansion and growth in this sector, because we are actually very low in terms of car penetration, car per capita. So that's a good news actually, and I am very optimistic on this, because this is poised to grow. This is poised to grow. But when we look at the kind of projection that government is talking about in the automotive mission plan 2016-26, lot of things have been talked about. Lot of things have been talked about. But if you look at the auto industry per se, other than these figures that we are talking about, uh, industry automotive is one of the industry which is if you talk about the contribution to the manufacturing GDP to the economy, auto industry is almost 50%, 49% plus comes from only auto sector. So all automotive put together in India, all kind of manufacturing, automotive itself is 50%, close to 50%. So you can imagine the sheer size and the dynamics of this sector. So if we are going to grow to 65 million, kind of employment generation, and if we are talking about, becoming the third largest or second largest in the world, uh, there is going to be a lot of, action in the market. And but on the other side of this, we may talk about a very rosy picture that we'll reach there, we'll do that, and our contribution to GDP will become 15% or 12%. All this is on paper. The question is, where are the skills? Where are the people? The question is that, are we ready for that? We may talk about industry 4.0 or 5.0, but is there a readiness? Do we have the right skill? Do we have the right kind of talent with the kind of scenario that we have here, where 50-60% of people are passing out from various technical colleges are not employable at all? So in that scenario, what is required is the right kind of curriculum, right kind of talent, right kind of skilling. The whole skilling ecosystem has to actually come up to the level which is actually desired by the industry. And that is where, since this is not happening, uh, the industry itself is spending a lot of time, energy setting up skilling centers, setting up institutes, corporate universities, and fulfilling that gap which is actually not being met somewhere, because industry anyway need talents. So I was just reading the World Economic Forum report, and they were saying that 42% of the core skills that we need to perform an existing job is expected to change. So according to World Economic Forum, more than a billion people needs to be reskilled by 2030. So reskilling is actually an emergency. Reskilling is a risk. So skilling, is something which the risk mitigation has to be taken care, and this is where the academics, the institution have to play a very big role. Whether it is a shop floor worker, whether it is a supervisor, whether it is a white collared engineer, each and every area needs to align. And as Arindam was talking about the essays and all, which I'll talk, but if we look at, you know, when we look at future of work, we look at future of work, not only automotive, but we have seen shifts happening. There is a huge disruption and technological shifts which has happened, and we are seeing it much more, in a rapid pace due to pandemic, where digital acceleration has actually happened very, very fast. We have seen generational shift, a lot of social shifts we are seeing, mindset shifts also we have seen during pandemic. So whole future of work is going to happen is actually going to be redefined by all these shifts which are happening. And as it is said that the worker and workplace all are going to be redefined. So basically the way we work, the way the workers are, or the people who work in the companies or shop floor will be totally different. Workplace itself is redefined. So say when I talk about work is already changing, especially in automotive industries. There is a high level of automation, and there is a high level of involvement of robotics, and there is what we call repetitive tasks have already been done by machines. Adoption of new age technologies like machine learning, uh, AI, IoT, etc. All you can see it in the automotive industry, and this adoption of these will be very much large in all kind of industries. If you look at worker, or when we say people or human capital, this is also getting redefined. Uh, Today we have full-time worker, we have full-time employees, we have part-time, we have outsource, we have temp, we have contract, all kind of. But then as we go forward, especially in the skill areas, we'll see full-time reducing, and the gig or crowdsourced talent becoming more and more into the system. And the challenge for HR will not be how to attract talent or uh, retain talent or enrich talent, but it will be more on what we call how I access talent. Accessing talent will become a big challenge because there will be a skill shortage. So where to get the talent? And in this pandemic, when remote working and hybrid working has become the norm, I mean, talent can come from anywhere in the world. So the challenge would be how to access talent, how to curate unique employee experiences, how to enrich the jobs of employee satisfaction and growth. So this will be a big challenge for the leaders and HR folks. And if you look at workplace, it is becoming more and more digital, as we call phygital, means physical plus digital infrastructure. And we have seen, in fact, when pandemic happened, I mean, in manufacturing could not even remotely think of working from home, but it happened. We had to adopt, so faster adoption, and things were working. In fact, till date, there would be some people who are working from home. So that's a big shift which has happened. And when then we talk about more and more digital infrastructure, data security, all this becomes very important. But in short, what I'm trying to say is that people, process, and technology all will be redefined. People, process, and technology all are going to totally redefined. And this is a big change which industry has to be prepared. But industry and the academia need to come together to fulfill that need and gap. That is one. Now coming to some of the things which Arindam was talking about, let me again reiterate that. See, there are a lot of mega trends which I talked about, shifts which is already happening. But when you look at issues like climate change or environmental degradation, demographic trend, India is lucky because we have a young population. But look at Japan and all; they have aging population. Rapid urbanization is happening. Digital technologies are coming in a big way. There is a rising middle class, and there is a rising consumer awareness. And the automobile sector is experiencing unprecedented disruption through changing technologies, and business model itself is changing. The competitors are changing, the buying behaviors are changing. And as Arindam was talking about the mobility trend, where the automotive mission plan also talks about ACEs, which is bringing in more autonomous car, which is safer and fatigue free. Connected is a big thing where accessible and how convenient your product or vehicles are. Electric, you are hearing a lot, which is zero tailpipe emission and shared ride sharing. You saw the rise of Olas and Ubers. So it is a like urban mobility also is changing. So better asset utilization and congestion reduction is something which is very important. So if you look at all this change is bound to happen. But how it will happen in the industry is by the people and the technology and the adoption of all these processes. But where is the people? The question is that the kind of skills which are now going to be required by the industry to run 4.0 or which is required in the industry. There are many skills which are not available at all. I remember 10 years back or even more, when we wanted to go for full body design, we had not a single clay modeler available in the country. So we had to get people from outside of India to help train our people. When crash is becoming important, there are how many trained engineers in India who are adept on the norms of the crash? Not many. So this is again an area which needs to be built up. Similarly, when we talk about areas like in the automotive, especially when you talk about, there are a lot of things happening in the mechatronics area. This has become a subject in engineering college. Then autotronics. Now additive technologies, 3D printing have been adopted for modeling. How many trained people or how many colleges are teaching this is to be seen. And of course, for AI, ML, blockchain, AR, VR, all these things are coming up in a big way. But robotic process automation, cloud computing, big data analytics, all this is going to become very important going forward. And the companies are investing heavily in this. Other than this, even soft skill like cognitive flexibility and logic, analytical ability, all this is also required along with the technical skill or functional skill. And similarly, a lot of business skills are required by people. So the companies are working with a lot of institutions in developing all these skills which are required going forward. And with the digital coming into picture, what I was just would like to share. Uh, just give me a minute. Yeah. So with the emerging roles and the profiles which are needed by industry 4.0, there will be a lot of requirement of data scientists, analytics translator, data architect engineers, analytics engineer. So these are the kind of areas 5 years earlier we never even heard about it. Today they are the actual requirement. And even if you look at specialized area like tool and die, the requirement of the industry. How much is available in the industry? There are very limited institutions, and the basics are taught, but these things they become very, very important going forward. And what I feel is that other than the uh, typical skill that you require, which is very readily available in the country, but some of these needs to come up. And the automotive sector, as I once again said, I'm saying that this is going to grow at a very rapid pace. The downturn which happened in 2018, when we had a minus 18% degrowth, is poised to be back. So I think I am hopeful that financial year 22-23 will be back to pre-pandemic level, definitely. And then there will be rapid growth that we are foreseeing. And with the kind of surge that we are seeing in the market, there was a pent-up demand, and the whole automotive dynamics are changing. If you look at the way electric adoption is happening, especially in two-wheeler, it is much they are much ahead, and the adoption will be much faster. Three-wheeler already, a lot of work has happened, but in the passenger vehicle segment also, you are seeing a surge in the market. And though the total market share is still less than 2%, but by in the next couple of years, it is going to grow very rapidly, and maybe it will be above 10%. There will be a lot of people required, in that kind of technology. When we talk about lithium-ion batteries, the maintenance itself is different. How many people, what kind of skill people have for handling lithium-ion? The electric vehicle maintenance is a big issue, and there are newer technologies which is adopted there, and the way IoT and all those are being adopted, a lot of skills are required. So this sector, particularly the automotive sector, is going to be a big employer. 37 million to 65 million, they will be absorbing the maximum people. And if we grow to even 12% of the GDP, you can imagine where we will be. So this is going to be a very exciting time, and my best wishes to all the students. And it is a right topic that the job creation and all those. This is the sector, and this is where maximum traction is going to happen. And I'm very optimistic about it, because with 22 as a car per capita, even if we go to 20 or 30, I think we are just waiting for the exciting time to come ahead of us. So thank you very much, and I'll be ready to take questions after the end of the talk of other experts, so we can take jointly any questions by the audience. So thank you very much, and over to the organizers.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your kind guidance. Uh, as you rightly said, we are also keeping our curriculum updated with inclusion of automotive electronics, vehicle electronics in the subjects 1 and 2. And we have included open electives cater the varied demand like automotive cyber security, data science, and all these things students will learn. Even our first batch student, they have learned this data science and they got good job. One of them is in Skoda right now. So this is the need of our for us also, for students also, keep pace with the society demand, and definitely with your support and guidance, we will do it. Now I will request Padi sir to kindly address the audience and guide them. Over to Padi sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pathak and Mr. Arindan Lahiri for inviting me for the talk. And it's always easy when a speaker from the same industry like Mr. Hussain, he spoke a lot about the industry, made my job easy. Uh, okay. So talking about the different skills, okay, and the future skills. But before that, I just would like to hear from the student what they wish to, what are their aspiration. Okay, that matters a lot. See, no, nothing is right or wrong. This is what we learned very recently from the pandemic. So one can have a strategy to have no job, one can have strategy to have 9 to 5 job, one can have strategy to have, you know, self employment, maybe a business owner, right? So so one need to choose between these four. So may I hear from the students, what do you need to choose? Because everything has their own strength and weaknesses or opportunities. Yeah, four options: no job, 9 to 5 job, self employment, or business owner.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir. My name is Ariman Silaria, and I'm currently pursuing BTech Automobile. I have just started my third year, and I'm currently looking to pursue in any automobile plant, especially in the manufacturing department or in the R&D.
Okay, fantastic. So 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, basically that. Yeah.
right. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Please speak up.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. My name is Harshita Kavi from BTech Automobile third year now. I'm looking in designing in the automotive sector. Thank you.
Fantastic. Again, it is a job. Okay. Okay, great. So, okay, from here, let me bring the perspectives. So, if you wish to have no job, then you will have more time. Okay. And so, you may not have money for travel and other enjoyments, right? If you prefer to have no job, that was a very traditional way of thinking. But nowadays, if you have no job, you can think and can have a gig worker type of thing, so that you can work for a project. Okay, and you can have more projects, 3 4 projects maybe. Okay, like gig worker. So still you can earn money, though you will have no job, still you will have something to earn. That is one point. Second is, like, if you prefer to have a job, you may have less time, but you will have money, and you might have to compromise, or you may have to trade up between the your travel enjoyment and the job, between those. Okay, then self employment means, again, you will have very less time, but you will have money, and you will have space for the travel. But if you are thinking of being a business owner, you will have time, travel, and money. So the first thing is the decision making skill that will remain forever. May it be for the now skills. Second is for the future skills. One needs to take the decision. Once you take the decision, once you find, okay, this is my goal, then you need to find out what type of skills you require to have. Okay, that is one thing I wanted to bring before talking on about the what type of future skills it is required in different industries. Now let me talk about some of the data. Okay, so one of the survey by Accenture that stated 21% of employees feel confident as a data literacy skills. That means we have opportunity for more than 80 79% employees. That means they are not having data literacy skill. Second is 10% leaders exhibit strategic skills. That means there is a gap in the strategic skills. Again, from the HBR, I got this, and as per them, 40% of transitions into the leadership role made by people identified by their companies having high potentials end in failures. From this inference, I can draw it. We have different level. One is a individual contributor level. Second is a managing other or a supervisory level. Third is the managing the managers. Okay, and next is the leadership. So at every level, there are different skill sets required. A fantastic engineer may not be a fantastic manager, and so on, right? And again, a global survey by McKinsey that states 87% of executives were either already experiencing skill gap or expecting skill gaps in their workforce within a couple of years. What does that mean? That means a lot of people needs to be de-skilled or certainly they may or may not face the heat of unemployment. And similarly, a LinkedIn survey that stated 50%, 54% of organizations think that the digital talent gap is hampering their digital transformation programs. There are a lot of surveys. If you'll go by the World Economic Forum data, they also states about 54% of all employees were required significant reskilling and upskilling by 2022. This is what a global perspective means to. And when I am talking about a global perspective, okay, automobile industry is also part of that, and it is one of the most you know uh, uh, most strategic industry where we adapt the skills faster. And if you'll go through the history of last 5 to 10 years, there were a lot of changes happened in the automobile industry, particularly about the two wheeler, if I have to speak, because I'm working with the automobile industry, which is world's number one two wheeler manufacturer from more than 2 decades consecutively. So here what we felt, rapid changes are happening, very rapid changes are happening. May it be transition from BS3 to BS4, then we skipped the BS4 BS5, then BS4 to BS6, then we are coming up with BS6 OBD2, then EV, okay, then maybe your hydrogen vehicles very soon. Okay, this is the trend into the product segment. Similarly, as per the E&Y, they did a survey with the Siam, Fada, Akma, okay, and they come up with certain data. So they said this automobile industry, uh, which will go through three trends in the holistic way. So when I talk about a product, for a designer, the product is different. For the manufacturers, means for the operations people, the product is different. And someone who is into the after sales, for them, the product is different. So obviously the skill sets requirement will be different. So keeping eye on this, they have produced a data, E&Y produced a data. And as per the data, they said the trends will be like three way. One is into the manufacturing trend, second is into the SAS, sales and service trend, and third is into the research and development trends. And in the manufacturing trend, if someone wish to switch to the manufacturing, they need to have skills like I 4.0, majorly additive manufacturing, okay, industrial robotics, and IIoT, and MES, that is manufacturing execution system. At this moment, we have 8 to 10% people who are skilled enough to adopt these skills inside or outside the industry. Similarly, in SAS, the you know shifting the mobility preference that is happening very rapidly, and the customers are more aware about the vehicle safety features. Okay, they are now they wish to have a last mile connectivity in the products. Okay, so to reaching out to the customer and providing them with the right kind of solution, uh, there are different kind of skill sets. Say for example, you need to understand the digital sales, okay, and similarly the exports will that will ought to increase. And as per the again the data, the export will grow by 35 to 40%. Similarly, government interventions, already lot being spoken about that, but in two wheeler segment, you will be finding ABS in two wheelers, airbags. ABS is already there, but airbag will be coming very soon in some of the products. EV means electrification of product is happening. Okay, similarly the fame is more inclined into giving more importance to the EVs, so as the corporate average fuel economy. So these all requires different types of skills, and we need to to very rapidly, means we need to be very flexible to adapt the skills. uh, then only we can be employable. And talking about the students, say there are there are 5 phases, I always say. One is getting a job. So for getting a job, you require certain kind of skills. Here in Gurukul, I am heading the Gurukul, so here in Gurukul also we have 500 students. And So every time end of the year when I do the review, I find 100% of them are engaged after the, even before the examination. That means they have the right kind of skill. At the same time, they can prepare their uh, biodata, okay, as per the apt trends of the industry. If you wish to get a job, you need to have good communication skill. At the same time, you need to have good core skills. But when you enter to the job, then you need to actually have skills to work along the people. For that, you need to have good collaborative skills and quick flexibility, so that you could able to adapt whatever changes are happening. Okay, then to grow, you need to be a lifelong learner. I always happen to say, means if you will increase 1% is better every day, then you could land up in improving yourself 37.78 times. Okay, in to achieve that will help you to achieve your vision. So similarly, when you grow into the hierarchy, then you need to have more empathy and more people oriented skills. So the skills will ever change, and one need to have the flexibility to adapt the skills. For that, one need to be the lifelong learner. So that is it from my side, but I would like to hear from the students and would love to answer the query along with other experts. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your kind guidance. And now I will request my friend Prashant to address the audience, and later on we will take a question. It.
Hello everybody. So first of all, thank you, Charu, for inviting me. So always looking at this campus, so it looks lovely. So wanted to get some chance. So yesterday he called me, say, can you come? Fortunately, today I was having some time, so fine. So why not to go? And it's always good to interact with the students. Always it gives us a good energy, because see, we were studying together actually. So at that time, if I see the way we were working now, it's totally different. So it looks nice. Always learning. Same thing I would like to do the advice. I think my fellow speakers already talked a lot on lot of technology jargons, but let's see, if you look at the ground reality, things are totally different. What I personally feel, even I have gone through, we have gone through this change. So always we see a technology. So when we were learning at that time, Windows 95 was the buzzword. So looking at what is Windows 95. When I passed out, we were from a small town or college. When I learned to operate a mouse after 2 years of my graduation. So see, now where are we? Now where are you? So definitely the things are evolving, but I personally think we don't have to bother too much. Morning we are discussing that now it looks that there is a decreasing trend for a mechanical or automobile sector. But if I see my personal thing, we are not getting good candidates in AI or other industry. So whenever daily I am almost calling 20 to 30 engineers, are you willing to join? But people are not there. They say, sir, sorry, sir, we are got in some other companies. So it's daily happening for me. So things are totally different. And what I personally also feel that people think as a mechanical automobile, they think only to work on a vehicles or on a production. But if you see in reality, things are totally different. Let's say I am a mechanical engineer, but never been on a shop floor for last 25 years. People think what I personally feel is that, see, we have to be learned knowing all the technologies. But definitely, it's always good to work on the basic things first. Let's say for mechanical engineers, I'm just talking openly. So first we have been through this process. But things we can go to anything. So let's say mechanic can easily go for electronics. He can easily do computers. Even we are working on computers only. But basic required is a mechanic. So that's you should not miss that. So like you were mentioning, you're working in some, let's say, dashboard thing or something, but the basic processes are there. Tomorrow vehicle will have different kind of a dashboard. There may be electronic dashboard, but the basic things are not going to change. Vehicles will evolve, but basic things are not going to change. Even at air or some OEMs, they feel that no things are going to become EV. So what's the role for mechanical engineering? But see, basic function of the vehicles are not going to change. The only thing use of electron is going to increase, but to operate that, we need a mechanical aptitude. So now if you talk, let's say autonomous vehicle, it's not use of only a sensor or camera or a coding, but we have to think how the vehicles are operating. how the brake system works, how the dynamics works. So for that, how the steering systems are working. So for that, definitely there is a need of an automobile or mechanical engineer. They can't simply a coder can't operate the things. We always say at AI, we should have the feel for the numbers. For example, when we interact with a computer guy or a CE person, they simply talk some numbers, but the realities are totally different. So we have to get a feel for the vehicle. Okay, when you say we apply some G, so people use some loads, even you are using some loads for the analysis. We say 1 kilonewton force, 10 kilonewton force. We should have feel for the number. For that, we have to really work on the vehicles, hands-on. And when we go for the interviews, so I think that when we see also on the other side, when we interview the candidates, we know that they are wrong. But what we see is their aptitude, how quickly they can learn the things, on how you have converted whatever the little opportunity you must have got. So we were discussing with one guy, let's say he said, okay, sir, sorry, sir, I could not get internship in a good, let's say, company. But if he would have given some, let's say he was in a technical interview. So what we will see, okay, he was not having any opportunity, but what differently he had done the things. So it's nothing what the company does, it's what you are doing, how you are contributing. So when you will go for an interview, so the interview will judge you not what internship you have got, not in what college you have done. Definitely, that's a stepping point. So if you're in a good college, of course, opportunity will be good. The college will take care of giving you the opportunity. But no matter whether it happens or not, because opportunities are tremendous. So you have to grab those opportunities. To grab that, you spend time in learning the things, why they are working like that. Because the interviewers are interested in that, because they feel, see, whatever we learn, definitely basic principles are going to use only there. So like what we are doing, like designing equations, torque, theory of machine, vehicle dynamics. If you, these are all in books. But if you really, there are softwares, they do this job automatically. But to operate the software, the basic engineering minds are required. And we see that whether this person or the guy, can he get more easily? So that is what people look when you go for any kind of interviews. So try to think on these lines. Always see like, okay, you have to be acquainted with the new technology like AI, ML. Don't worry, not try to learn everything in one go. It's very difficult because by that time now these are the buzzwords. But now when you will go for a graduation, we don't know whether those will remain at that time because the technologies are changing a lot. You have seen yourself that like I think around you will be about 18 to 22 years old or let's say less than 20. So you see automobiles which were 10 or 5 years ago. The things are totally different. The mode of transport, transports are changed. Earlier the trend was people used to have only vehicle. Now the trend is that we like to go with Ola Uber because now we don't want to spend time in driving. We don't want to spend time in our thing. So things are evolving, but it doesn't mean that jobs are going to less. So it is going to create a new opportunities. So we have to be ready to grab those opportunities. So for that, just spend time in learning the basic things, learning the new things. Don't waste too much of time learning all the things. So, and definitely because there are other opportunities when you go for masters, business. So even if, let's say, I come mainly from a testing background. So where even in testing, so there are a lot of things. In ARM, there are, for one automobile aspect, there is one department. In one department, there are 10 different verticals. So you can see the scope. There are a lot of scope. Don't worry. So even we feel that even if you go civil engineering, right now, we say no, civil engineer, where are the jobs? But if you see the infrastructure, they're changing around. Only thing we have to be ready to grab those opportunities. That's always I personally see that we have to be ready to adapt. What are the changes are going to happen? Because even when we started working, we were working on one thing. After 2 years, we have to be on new things. Even for a software coder, earlier C, C++, I don't know what, .NET, blah, 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 it always comes. So only thing, yes. So don't worry. Don't spend too much of time learning all the things. Spend the time in understanding the basic things. Definitely, and sky is the limit because there are a lot of things. Even myself, just to tell you, because there are a few people. Let's we were a batch of 60 students. All are doing the good things. They were out of 60, 20 we are saying what the person he can do, whether he will get a job. Now, if you see that, that would be very fantastic thing. The reason being, what we say is that there are enough holes everywhere. People look at different kinds of materials to fill. So it's not that if you are good enough that always you will get a good job, you have to go for MS. So there are a lot of opportunity even in India, lot of different things, and whosoever gets that opportunity, only thing, be flow with whatever, we have to be flow with the technology, we have to be flow with what's happening and be ready for the change. That's, I think that's what I wanted to talk. Think much more. If you have any questions, ready to answer, or maybe other things people are also there. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant. And now I will open up this session for question and answer. So I will request audience to please put your questions, whatever you feel or whatever you like. If you are having some questions, doubts, or your thoughts, you can please express and we will get the guidance from experts. Please, any question? I know all of you have questions. Tens of questions, maybe hundreds of questions in mind. So, yeah, please. You can come here and you can put your question.
The pandemic has greatly impacted our industry in the recent years, and every procedure that is occurring in a job application, or every procedure that is okay, like in the job, what do we say? Process of acquiring a job has been totally changed compared to before pandemic and after pandemic. So, what advice would you like to give us on basically trying to grab that job opportunity that we are getting because of the changing process that has occurred after the pandemic?
So fantastic question. Fantastic question. Let me try to answer it. So during the pandemic, we have never stopped. In fact, in automobile per se, in the two wheelers, what we did, our BS4 to BS6 transition happened during the pandemic only. And if you see about the world skill competitions, that also happened during the pandemic only. So they have conducted the zonal level, then the state level, then the interstate or the regional level, then the national level. Okay, training, developing people, everything happened. And fortunately, one of our student from Gurukul will be participating in the world skill competition. Will represent India in Austria. Okay. Similarly, our hiring process never stopped. We hired people through the virtual mode. Our people development process, that also never changed. So means pre-pandemic, majority of our skill development and people development process happened to be through the physical or in-person mode. But now we have 6 different modes of people development. It can be pure virtual, it can be blended, it can be your in-person modes. So different modes we have adapted. Okay. So as I said, the technological transformation, may it be on the product side or may it be into the process side, making digital cockpits, smart manufacturing cells, or may it be people development, say per se, or hiring. So it has never stopped because we have adapted the changes. Okay. And it also gave us more flexibility, visibility, and it also helped us in scalability. So similarly for the students, they need to adapt. Everything or anything that changes, you need to adapt. Okay, in context of Hero, exactly what happened during the pandemic, we thought to um, the WHO is the best site where you could able to learn about what are the things are happening. So we have created a core team who did a lot of certification courses from there. Then we launched the programs for training our employees, their family members, reaching out to the supply chains, so that we could able to connect with them, so that during our rebooting of operations, they can they can easily come and work in the industries as well as in the supply chains, SAS, everything. So I could able to recall there were 50,000 plus people to whom we have trained. Similarly, once we rebooted the operations, the wave 2 came, and there were a lot of anxiety and stress among the family members and among the employees. The reason why we also launched a blissful mind program, so that people can feel that okay, it can be managed and we can prevent the pandemic also, we could able to manage it. Okay, similarly, for the students, they need to go through a lot of courses as and when required, because see, nobody can give guarantee that this pandemic already ended. So this pandemic may continue for few years from now, or there can be different looming pandemic conditions. So one need to adapt the skills. Yeah. Have I answered to your query?
It's
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
any more question, please? Any question? Please, don't be shy.
Hello, sir. My name is Anish Ranade. I'm BTech Automobile Engineering third year. My question to you is, now that everyone in the industry is talking about Industry 4.0 and implementation of Industry 4.0, my question to you is, why are they pushing so desperately for this implementation of IoT in industry? Because what I have read or what I have heard of is the fact that it is not a very stable implementation or not a very stable system in India and in the world, because of the security concerns as well as other loss of jobs. There are more the maintaining the databases. So why is it that many of these companies are still desperately trying to introduce or implement I4 here?
Okay. So as per the automotive mission plan AMP 2026, so we have the visibility that the industries who will be, this auto industry, that will do good. And to remain in the leadership role position, you have to have 35 to 40% is into the exports. Okay. So one part is that. Second is, as I was talking about different trends, those are coming into the automobile industry for to be into the leadership role. One of those is like in the manufacturing trend. So when we talk about i4.0, it comes with 8 to 9 riders. It is not coming only with the robotics or only with the sensors. It comes with the 9 to 9 riders, 8 to 9 riders, and those riders will ensure that your data security, at the same time that will also ensure a smooth transition. Say for example, in automobile, we talk about the quality, cost, uh, safety. Okay. And also we talk about the zero breakdown, zero rejection. Okay. Zero accident sort of things. So we have 10 to 12 pillars in automobile. We say the equipments having these zeros are the platinum equipments. That means they will not produce defective product, they will not have accident, there won't be any leakage, there won't be any breakdown. So they will fulfill those. So so to fulfill those requirement, one need to understand uh, the equipment better. To understand the equipment better, if there is a sensor, and that sensor, if it will communicate with the user, then only it can be, it can you can able to communicate better, and you could able to rectify it before the failure, so that one can produce a defect free product. Okay. Similarly, before the machine gets breakdown, we have the sensors and we have a cockpit. We have a cockpit so that we could able to rectify it before it gets breakdown. Okay. So to have this competitive advantage, one need to adapt those things. Okay. So this is again, it's a requirement. It's not a liberty to do go for the i4 4.0 adoption. A lot of things already happened, and there will be a huge change on the cards. Maybe in 3 to 4 years, you will see there will be a lot of robotization and a lot of I4.0 transition in the industries, and we need to adapt it to remain competitive in the global era. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Two more question. So with this, I thank all the experts, Hussein ji, Adi ji, Prashant, and our mentor, Shri Arindam Lahiri ji. And I now conclude this session on the note that definitely by 2026, or it will start earlier now, as you rightly said, we are starting an era wherein we have already witnessed the long waiting list of car. If someone wants to buy Creta, he has to wait at least for a few months. Similar is the case for even new launch vehicle, and participation of luxury cars is also increasing, and this scrappage policy again, it will accelerate huge demand for trucks, mini trucks. So we definitely enjoy a bright future. Wish you all the best. Thank you all. And we wish that all of you to visit our campus very soon. So we will have an opportunity to interact in person with the students. Maybe we are in association with SAE. We are organizing three conferences rather. We are trying to get that CIAT location in our university. That is first thing. So CIAT, which is biennial event, maybe we can be one of the hosts, and two conferences. One is on off-road vehicle, already we got commitment, and one conference on innovation. So with this, sir, I will require your help and guidance to successfully organize future events also. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I declare the
Yeah.
program is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. See you again.